When we think about military power, most people imagine fighter jets, nuclear weapons, or cutting-edge technology. But one of the most important measures of a nation's strength is the size of its military. Today, we're counting down the top 10 countries with the largest armed forces in the world, ranked not just by active-duty soldiers, but also by reserves and paramilitary personnel. From global superpowers like China and the United States to surprising entries like Ethiopia and North Korea, some of these numbers will shock you. Let's get started. Starting off the list is South Korea. While its active army isn't the largest compared to the global giants, what makes the country stand out is its ability to rapidly mobilize an enormous force. Thanks to mandatory military service and the constant tension with its northern neighbor, nearly every young man serves time in uniform, and millions more are trained and ready to be called back. This system gives South Korea one of the largest pools of trained personnel in the world, even if the everyday active force looks modest by comparison. In a crisis, the entire country can transform into a defensive wall almost overnight. At number 9 comes Ethiopia, an entry that surprises many people. With a developing economy and limited technology compared to major powers, you might not expect it to field such a large standing force. But Ethiopia's military is shaped by decades of regional conflicts, border disputes, and internal challenges. Maintaining a sizable army is a way for the government to assert stability and control, even if it comes at significant cost. For Africa, Ethiopia's commitment to manpower makes it the single largest standing army on the continent, proving that size doesn't always reflect wealth or technology. Next up is Iran, a country whose military strength comes as much from strategy and influence as from size. Iran splits its forces between the regular army and the Revolutionary Guard, creating both a traditional military structure and specialized units with a focus on regional power. Decades of sanctions and political isolation have pushed Iran to rely less on advanced Western technology and more on homegrown innovation, missile development, and unconventional tactics. Its manpower ensures it can sustain a presence at home and abroad, projecting influence across the Middle East despite economic struggles. 7th on the list is Pakistan. The country's military has been central to its national identity since its creation and remains one of the most influential institutions in its politics and society. Pakistan faces a constant rivalry with India, and that rivalry has driven it to maintain a very large and capable army. Beyond sheer manpower, Pakistan is also one of the few countries with nuclear weapons, making its armed forces a cornerstone of South Asian security. Its soldiers are battle-tested from both regional conflicts and counterinsurgency campaigns, giving the country both experience and deterrence. In 6th place is Ukraine, a nation whose military has changed more in the past few years than perhaps any other. Once considered relatively small, Ukraine's armed forces have ballooned due to the ongoing war with Russia. Through mass mobilization, international training, and foreign support, Ukraine has transformed into one of the largest militaries in Europe. Unlike many others on this list, Ukraine's military is not just a statistic. It is actively engaged in a major modern conflict, making its size and resilience central to its survival and sovereignty. Russia takes the 5th spot, and historically it has been defined by the scale of its armed forces. From the Soviet era to today, Russia has relied on manpower and heavy weaponry to project power across its vast territory and beyond. In recent years, its ongoing war with Ukraine has raised questions about the readiness, training, and supply of its soldiers. Yet the country still commands a vast pool of active troops, reserves, and paramilitary units, backed by one of the world's largest stockpiles of tanks and nuclear weapons. Russia's sheer size ensures it remains a formidable military power, even as it struggles with modern challenges. 4th is North Korea, perhaps the most militarized society in the world. Despite its small population, nearly a third of its people are tied to the armed forces in some form. Military service is compulsory, and enormous paramilitary groups supplement the regular army. Much of North Korea's equipment is decades old, and its economy struggles to provide advanced technology. But what it lacks in modernization, it makes up for in manpower and political will. For the regime, the military isn't just for defense. It is a symbol of power, control, and survival, making it impossible to overlook despite its isolation. 3rd on the list is the United States, and here is where numbers don't tell the full story. The U.S. doesn't have the largest military by manpower, but it is widely considered the strongest overall. With the world's largest defense budget, The US maintains cutting-edge technology, from stealth bombers and nuclear submarines to advanced cyber and space capabilities. American forces are stationed across the globe, giving it reach that no other military can match. Even with fewer active soldiers than China or India, the combination of technology, training, and global presence makes the United States the benchmark for modern military power. Coming in second is India, home to the largest volunteer army in the world. India's military has deep roots, shaped by both colonial history and its modern role as a rising power. Positioned between two major rivals, Pakistan and China, India invests heavily in maintaining a massive and modern force. Its army, navy, and air force are all expanding, and the country is rapidly developing its own defense industry. With its large population and growing economy, India is not only maintaining one of the biggest militaries on Earth, but is also pushing to become one of the most advanced. And finally, at number 1 is China. The People's Liberation Army is the largest standing force in the world, and it has been undergoing a transformation. Beyond sheer manpower, China is rapidly modernizing, building advanced aircraft, expanding its navy, and developing cyber and missile capabilities. Its military strategy focuses not just on defending its borders, but on projecting power regionally and globally. Combined with its economic rise and political ambitions, China's armed forces are not only the largest in size, but are also becoming some of the most sophisticated, cementing the country's role as a dominant global power. So there you have it. The 10 largest militaries in the world for 2025 and 2026. From Ethiopia's unexpected presence to North Korea's extraordinary mobilization, each country on this list reflects a unique balance of history, politics, and priorities. Some rely on raw manpower, others on advanced technology, and the strongest combine both. What do you think matters most today? Having the most soldiers or having the most advanced equipment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more global rankings.